Hi, I'm Rosie, Head of NPD at Atom Brands and also Scrum Master for Atom Labs. Today, I'm going to be talking you through our agile and disruptive approach to innovation. Why did we do Atom Labs? Why did we introduce the Skunkworks model? What we wanted to do was create a level playing field with the other companies in the industry. So we can't justify spending 12 or 18 months developing a product. It's just too expensive and it's too slow. We've tried the traditional techniques of Gantt charts and waterfall and normal processes, but what we really found is it's just not quick enough for us. We want to be quick, we want to be agile, we want to do really fast innovation. And what we needed to do to create that level playing field is basically understand what we're good at. And we're really good at getting stuff to market really quick, innovate, iterate, be really agile, listen to your customers and make those changes really quickly. So what is a Skunkworks? So the term originated with Lockheed's World War II Skunkworks model, and this allows a really small dedicated team to work on a project outside of their normal day-to-day remit, which means real creativity, autonomy, and real freedom to be able to basically take a step outside of your normal role to be able to work on something really different. And it gives you freedom, space to really think outside of the box without those constraints of business as normal. So why Scrum? We all know that context switching is slow and inefficient, and I'm sure you can relate to having multiple projects on at any given time, and you want to give them all your focus and all your energy, but it always feels so much better to get one thing done well rather than many things done good enough. By adopting Scrum, it allows us to understand what it is exactly we need to work on. We have really clear communication, and it enables us to remove those blockers. We give ourselves full latitude to test the ideas and fail, and that's okay. The less time it takes you to make a decision about something, the less money you've invested in it, and therefore you can be agile. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the process of Scrum and sprints. It sounds like we're talking about sport, right? But I promise you we're still talking about booze. So it goes a little bit like this. The process will always start with a backlog prioritization. So we'll sit down and we'll go through the backlog, which is a list of every single project that we could possibly think of, that anyone has thought of, and we'll go through that and we'll prioritize that commercially. And I'll touch more on prioritization a little bit later. Then what we do is the sprint planning. So we'll have our backlog prioritization, and then we'll have the sprint planning. And then during the sprint planning, the whole team will attend, and we'll basically go through exactly what it is we want to achieve in the next 2 weeks. Next, you have the daily Scrum. This happens every day. Every morning, we catch up for 15 minutes in the morning, and we just basically say what's good, what needs to be unblocked, what the progress is going on this. And that is a really good way to keep that communication really, really tight and understanding how to unblock things that might be stopping you from progressing. And the last thing is our sprint review and retrospective. So we basically will all sit down and we'll say what went well, what didn't go well, what can we do more of, what should we do less of, how can we make this quicker, faster, better. And we're slowly iterating each time to not only make the products better, but actually to make the processes better too. So how do we decide what to work on? So I touched on backlog prioritization earlier. The backlog is prioritized at the start of each sprint, and everything is prioritized, not just what you want to work on, but actually what is going to deliver the highest EBITDA for the business. So it's all about commercial. This is great fun, and we love being agile, and we love all the innovation, but realistically, it still needs to deliver for the business. So that's how we will prioritize things. And this is always done separately from the sprint planning, because in the sprint planning, you might decide to prioritize something which you really want to work on, but it might not actually be that valuable for the business. And the backlog has the potential to significantly change each time we do sprint planning, because week to week, you might find that actually things are more commercially valuable than they were the week before. It could be because something's gone viral online and we want to jump on that whilst it's still hot. And sometimes it can just be a gut feel from experience, and sometimes it can just be capitalizing on something which is very current right now. So how do we do it so fast? So what we do is we will try and launch a minimum viable product. So by having an existing catalogue of maybe 15 bottles, a variety of closures, label sizes, we are limiting ourselves to the consumables we can use, but what we do actually find is that that constraint sort of creates creativity, because it sort of forces you to really think inside the box, outside the box. So we then test on Master of Malt, and this has the benefit of being part of our business. We're very uniquely positioned, so we have immediate access to data. We work in the same teams, and we can have that communication really, really fast. And once it's proven as a product, at that point we'll look at scaling, iterating, and that sort of stuff, but only once we've seen some success in the early stages. And the overarching theme here is fail fast and cheap. Maybe sometimes we do things a little bit quick and dirty, but that's okay, because actually we're finding out where we can make things better. And by making those failures, we can learn really, really quickly. So where do the ideas come from? Atom as a company, we have great insight into the world of spirits, whether it's through the industry or through our staff members. This is a really great way to get people to come to us with their ideas, get involved with the innovation process. And an idea doesn't have to be complex or well thought through or anything like that. It can be just very conceptual to begin with, but we will always give it the time that it needs to think about whether this is something we should do or not. And every single idea will go into the backlog to be looked at as a potential product. So we take inspiration from other industries, whether it's pharma, food, even things like barbecue. And all of these things have the potential to go and deliver the same success as we've seen with Jaffa Cake Gin. And of course, inspiration from all of the other fantastic brand owners and design agencies out there. And of course, flavour. Flavour is really important in everything we do. We are flavour enthusiasts, after all. So I'm going to talk you through the process of how we actually sprint. The first 2 weeks of the 6-week period, so the first 2 weeks is spent developing the product. So at this point, we'll come up with a brief, we'll come up with some liquid samples, we'll come up with a label concept, and by the end of the first 2 weeks, we want to be in a position where we've signed off the label, we've signed off the liquid, so then when we move into the second stage, we've got all the concept stuff signed off, done, ready to go. Now the second stage of this 2-week period, the second 2 weeks of the 6-week period, is the coordination phase. So at this point, we're starting to get everything together. We're making sure the bottles are in the warehouse. We're making sure we've got the labels, the arrival dates. We're scheduling everything with production. This is us just making sure we've got our ducks in a row so that the next 2 weeks, the final 2 weeks in the 6-week sprint, is all about producing, all about getting it live. So you've got a 6-week period. It's develop, coordinate, produce. And in that produce stage, we will go and get our hands dirty. We will get onto the production floor. We will literally don our high vis and our steel toe cap boots, and we will go and the labs team will package the first run of the product. And this is really important because it enables you to get really down in the nitty-gritty and understand how this product is made and how you can make it really easy for the production team to help us to be really, really innovative. And so you've got a 6-week period there. And so throughout that 6-week period, we will get a product through from concept to launch, and it will be live on Master of Malt, ready to be sold. So what does the testing period look like? So in the first instance, we'll put things on Master of Malt, but we won't give them any marketing love. They might appear in the new arrivals list page, but it's not a fair test if we are giving marketing money to this product and we're not giving it to all the rest. So we decided not to do any marketing in the first instance for anything so that it's a fair test. So when things start showing early success on Master of Malt, we will start maybe putting things up on Instagram, maybe doing a little feature here and there, slowly working out which are the ones which are having highest interest and therefore we should continue to invest in. And then there's the other side of it. If things aren't selling, why aren't they selling? Is the price point right? Should it be positioned differently? Does the label just not speak to the consumer that we're trying to reach out to? And it's about understanding that, and that's all part of the feedback process as well. So, as I said, once something shows signs of success or failure, at that point we'll do something with it. And I'll move on to that bit next. So, what do we do? When do we decide when to scale, iterate, kill, continue testing? So there'll be sort of 4 different categories here. You've got the scale. At this point, the product's a rip-roaring success. It's really obvious. It will graduate to scale. Marketing and production will get their hands on it, and we will just let it go as a full product, and it will be fully available. If something's not quite showing early signs of success, or there's maybe some complexities in the production process, we might iterate it. We might make it easier for the guys to produce. We might just give it a little bit more love on Master of Malt to see if there's something we can do to change it. Or we might just continue testing. If we're just not sure, it's ticking along and it's sort of selling some, but we're not quite sure. There's no obvious desire to change anything, but we'll just leave it there a little bit longer just to continue testing, just to get a little bit more data. And something might be an obvious failure, in which case we will kill it, we will learn from the results, we won't spend any more money on it. And that's really important. And because what we're able to do is invest a few £100s over the space of a few weeks, as opposed to a few thousands of pounds over the space of months. And that's part of what makes our process so unique. So I've talked a lot about what we've done in the last year and a half. So what does the future look like? Well, it's a really interesting question because our future is only actually about 2 to 6 weeks in advance. And I couldn't tell you what we're going to work on in 12 weeks because in 3 weeks' time, that might change. But what I really, really want to see more of in the future is a diverse online community where we are talking to customers and industry bodies alike, and we're getting real, honest, genuine feedback. We want people to engage with us and tell us about the drinks that they want, because at the end of the day, we're not doing this for us. We're doing this so we can give people amazing products that they really, really want. Live tastings and a really nice environment where we can get that real nice sort of level of feedback from people in a way that they feel like they're making a difference as well. So we just want to have a lot of fun with it and find out what people want so we can give it to them. So I just wanted to end with a few quotes from some very well-known entrepreneurs and innovators. And the thing they all have in common is that sometimes actually you find a better way to do things through failing. And so iteration is key. Failure is good. And don't try and avoid making mistakes, because that is where you'll make your best learnings.